Hey everybody, let's see. Gotta mute that so there's no echo. Hey everybody, how's everyone doing? Let's see, just wait a second, I gotta put this out on Twitter. Huh. Bunch of people tweeted some stuff for me. Let's see. Hold on. Damn it, I lost the link. Anyway, that's what we've... If you're looking at what I'm looking at, then this is what we've got so far. Looking pretty good. I cheated a little bit and added the mount stitches, because it was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing that I wanted to get done. Let's see. Come on. Boom. Whatever. Yeah, okay. Wow. Oh, I'm sorry I'm starting so late, guys. It's only 7:30 here. Let's see, I told Twitter. I'm looking at you guys. Let's see. Strength is... stability is marginal. Huh. I wonder what's so different about today. Oh well. Let me get my references up and then we'll get started. Boom and boom. Okay. It's going to be a little bit easier tonight since we're just going to be inking some stuff. Yeah. Do. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Just wait a second. Gotta check something out. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Yeah, that'll do fine. Wait, no, it's a little bit big. Hey, let me get the chat up and see what you guys are all saying. Would you want to watch a Celebrity Deathmatch reboot? Not really. I think it's fine. I think it had a good run. I'm really not interested in seeing that again. Let me reselect this, see where everything is. Oh boy, it's right on top of the nose. Yeah, you know, I think it might be okay. Actually, I don't want it to crowd the eyelash. So there, I think that fixed the problem I was looking at. Red versus Blue, yeah, I've watched it a couple times. I've watched clips. Yeah, maybe a little bit of lines here, a little bit of lines there. Oh, I know I said I was gonna like stream some public domain cartoons, but I don't know. I was started looking up and making sure which ones were which, and It turns out there's more than you think, but less than you'd hope. It's like, for example, I thought all the Little Audrey cartoons were in public domain. Turns out only like a handful of them are. And that middle flower is just way too big. That's what was throwing me off. There we go, and then I'll shrink this one to about here. Ooh, I am tuckered. I just finished putting up all my Christmas and packing it all away. And that was kind of more or less a day's ordeal. Went to my local 99-cent store, or the dollar store. Picked up some little plastic baggies to put stuff up, and they had a ton of card games, like they had a bunch of HeroClix. They've got like 5-year anniversary DC HeroClix. Let's see. Visuals. Yeah. Yeah, I've been missing some questions. I haven't been looking at the chat as much right now. I'm just kind of focused on drawing. But I'll peek over. But anyway, what I was saying is I found a bunch of HeroClix. They had some Lord of the Rings HeroClix, the little booster packs, and they also had the starter set, which is good because I barely have any of those starter sets. So now I think I got like 4 sets of maps, or no, 2 sets of maps, 4 in total. I've got the, I picked up a, let's see, what was it? It's a Legion of Doom DC HeroClix pack, and with the kind of novelty figures, like there's one of Ginorma or Giganta. I forget what variation on that name it is, but basically the giant woman in leopard print, or is it cheetah print? I don't know. Which is like 4 times bigger than all the other figures. Let's see, I got that one. I've got now the Lord of the Rings one, which came with 4 figures and a rule book and all that stuff, so that's good. Now that I have a in-house rule book, I was looking online before. Apparently HeroClix never went away. Scots? Let's see, they had the booster packs, they had that, they had, like Star Wars, you know those little mini pocket battle things? You, like, punch out, it's kind of like the Pirates thing that they used to have. I did an episode on Pirates. Something High Seas or something, you punch out the little cardboard ships and build them. They're little model games. They got that, but with Star Wars. They had a Imperial, let's see, what was it? An Imperial Elite box or something. It came with a huge Star Destroyer. You know, the triangle spaceships. Come on. There we go. That line's a little too thick for me. Damn it. Let's see, they had that. I found a random booster pack of some Dragon Ball Z game I never heard of. I mean, I've heard of it. I I heard of the other one. I have a starter set and booster packs of that one. But this one was totally weird. It's basically a copy or a clone of the Naruto card game they used to have. But except with Naruto characters, it's just all Dragon Ball Z characters. The pirate episode would have been better without the accent, but I wanted to do it. Let's see, questions do we have? I gotta. Ginorma is monsters versus aliens. Okay, well then who's then it's Giganta. Okay. Then it is definitely Giganta who's the giant one. Oh wait, is this line coming in from the arm? It is. Oh good, I didn't merge anything together yet. So yeah, that was weird to find that. It was like, I've ran into a couple of those. They're basically clones, not clones, but if one card game fails, they just slap it on a different one. They did that with Ben 10 Alien Force and Power Rangers. It was basically the same game, but with just different art on the side. Are they still making the Ratchet and Clank movie? I'm not sure. I know they're making the remake. I saw some footage of that online, which is good. I mean, it kind of looks better than it did. Does that look nice? Yeah, that's a good. Little underline for the boo. No, I'll leave that off for now. Let's see. This looks a little weird. Thicken this up a bit. Let's see, what else did I get today? I found that. I guess that was it. Sometimes you find little weird treasures at the dollar store. For example, they had a bunch of Jones soda, and it was like chili pepper. It was diet chili pepper and pineapple flavored. So I bought a couple balls of that. They had, let's see, pardon me, I'm just going to take my sweater off. I've been running around all day, and it's been raining all day. But now I'm inside and I'm nice and warm. Dice Masters, yeah, I bought a bunch of those. I bought a bunch of the booster packs because they were just 99 cents each. It's like already cheap damage stuff. I need a box set though, and I hear they're making a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, so I'm kind of holding out for that. Can you merge layers in this program? Oh yeah, totally. Hotkey, Control E to shift down. Control Shift E to merge everything together. Or is that just from what I've done by mapping my own shortcuts? I'm not sure, but that's the way I do it. Working on these flowers. Let's see. What was it originally? Oh yeah, dollar store stuff. They had some, I forget what they call it. They had a Dew Shine. It was Mountain Dew with real sugar, like the original stuff. And it was clear. It wasn't like neon green, and it had a little picture of the hillbilly on it. And it came in a bottle. It's basically stuff that the market couldn't move, or special items, like limited editions. Like they got a ton of like birthday cake M&Ms just still sitting around there. It's cheap sugar, cheap materials, and cheap, sometimes, food. I used to have a creamer there that I rather liked. It was from a local, I don't know, some sort of local thing. But they stopped making it. I guess it just went under. No, not Mountain Dew Kickback. It's called Dew Shine. Like moonshine, but dew shine. And like I said, it wasn't it wasn't a mutant's piss color. Are you a Mac or a PC? I'm working on a laptop, which would be a PC, I guess. Dollar Tree is also good for things sometimes. There was one thing I found at the Dollar Tree that was weird, and it was like I did an episode one time on random magic cards that they had. They had basically a booster pack, which I didn't know there was a huge market for this, for people buying up the dirt, all the dirt and garbage cards, the basics, and then reselling them in little packets or giant packets. I've seen those at Walmart. It's like, oh, well, one rare card. It's like it's like sell them in packs of, like, I don't know, 20, like way more than a booster pack, and they guarantee a rare card in every set. And then I saw them at the Dollar Tree. They have that sometimes, but it's like one set of cards or like one card game. Like they have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that card game. I bought a bunch of those. They had let's see, what else do they have? They had Magic. They always have Magic. They had some Yu-Gi-Oh, but I didn't buy anything because I'm kind of out of Yu-Gi-Oh. But they had one that was just random cards from random card games. Like, it had some Magic, some hack, something or other. And one card game I never even heard of. It's weird. It's got, like, something to do with gates and time travel. And it's kind of like if they made a card game of Ultima. There's, like, dragons and warriors, but there's also spacemen and machine guns. And the artwork is something like out of an album cover. Like, I was really interested in that. Who are your favorite Gravity Falls characters? I like Grunkle Stan. Let's see, in order. Grunkle Stan, Pacifica, Seuss, Mabel and Dipper are tied. Wendy's cool. And now I'm just going by whoever pops into my head, but Grunkle Stan and Pacifica. Who else? What's your favorite live action show for both kids and adults? Have you ever played Warcraft card game before Hearthstone? Well, okay, I'm looking at these two questions. Well, no, I've never played a Warcraft game before Hearthstone. I know people that played it in college, high school. In fact, there was one guy who played it all the time. He used to bring his laptop to school. Which, wait, I don't even know how he did it. I remember him whipping it out one day and playing it in class. Not in class. It was after class. God, what was it? How did he get connected to the internet? Oh, now I'm confused. Did they even have Wi-Fi back then? Okay, what was the live action show? God, I don't even know. Let's see. Live action. I'm trying to think of any live actions that I really enjoyed. Colbert doesn't count. Oh god, I just spilled my water. Crap. And I have an electric port right here. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, I got a towel. I was going to say, going to my linen closet and coming back, I was going to say I'm more into live action shows, like, webcomics. I already said this yesterday. Check out In Town and Lost Side of Suburbia. What do I think of Lego Dimensions? I think it's another kind of thing to sell plastic toys. Initially, I mean, maybe the gameplay's good. I don't know. What was I going to say? I was going to say I like kind of sketch comedy shows. Not necessarily Saturday Night Live, because I haven't watched any of that in a while. But I do like, what was one good one? Like, I have Kids in the Hall on DVD. And I really got into The Whitest Kids You Know. Which, let's see, I think it aired on IFC. Ran for like, I guess 6 seasons, but I didn't know about it because I wasn't watching IFC. But I think that's a really good one. I think that's a really hilarious series. I think the first sketch I ever watched, well, of course, it was the Lincoln skit. Where Lincoln is a heckler at the play, and he gets beaten down by a shoe in the end. I laughed. I probably laughed way too much at this premise, but I like the one where Timmy's. It's like, what was it? It's like an online game, and Timmy's just this loud, obnoxious player. You know, he's like, where, guys? And then he starts talking to his mom. Mom, make me a sandwich. And they're like, what? And like, oh my god, turn off your microphone. Make me a sandwich, Mom. I'll get it. Get what? Hello? Oh my god, get off the mic. Mom, Mrs. Johnson wants you. What? No, Caleb's a liar. Mom. Caleb's a liar. And they just quit out. Civil War on Drugs is awesome. It's a little short mini movie they made. Kinda. It was kind of tucked in within a season. I'm just doing these flowers to get them out of the way. Do do do. Let's see. My favorite Timmy bit. Let's see. There's hot dog Timmy. There's it's not kitten. It's chicken. That's a good one. What other ones? Well, it's funny. I remember it being hilarious, but I can't remember any good ones off the top of my head right now. Because I'm thinking of other stuff. See our Pokemon or Digimon. I Pokemon definitely. Digimon, it's not bad. I have no animosity towards it. In fact, I was really into it when it was first on. Let's see. I remember actually being over at my uncle's when Digimon premiered, and I was excited about it. Yeah, it was one Saturday morning, and it happened, and I was kind of intrigued by the whole Digimon thing. I mean, the Digivolution thing. I was a little nonplussed by the fact that they all changed in the same episode. I didn't quite understand what was... Like, they changed back after a while, but they never really did from that stage. They kind of stayed at starter level, I guess is what you call it. No, it's not starter. It's like intermediate or something. I don't know. Yeah, it was interesting. I had the card game, and it was good. Actually, the current game wasn't so hot, I'll admit. It was a little bit of, I don't know, I just couldn't get into the whole paper, rock, scissors kind of thing and modifying and different stuff like that, but the artwork was good. Oh, hey, you know what? Mighty Boosh is also pretty decent. Not decent, it was actually great. I loved that. I used to watch it all the time. It's like, oh my god, are you the new face of Trapped Wind? Bouncy, bouncy, ooh, such a good time. Bouncy, bouncy, shoes all in a line. Bouncy, bouncy, stilettos are a no-no. Bounce 'em high, bounce 'em low. Every time I bounce, I feel I touch the sky. Now the outlines of these flowers are way thicker than on these ones, so I gotta go back and fatten them up a little bit. And what the hell is this? Oh, it was on the same layer. What WTF is the Mighty Boosh? It's a TV show. It's a British TV show. And it's great. It had 2 seasons. One where they were working in a zoo and another one where they were working in a store. They were both hilarious. The one of the character actors also does a lot of work for Cartoon Network. He's been on what is it? He's been on the regular show a couple times. He was a talking phone on regular show. I forget his name. He shows up from time to time. Let's see, what are some other crimps that I remember? Let's see, there was, There's a soup crimp. Let's see how that goes. It's something like, I am gazpacho, I am a summer soup, oh, miso, miso, fighting in the dojo, miso, miso, Oriental prince in the land of soups. No, I haven't seen the Trailer Park Boys. I heard a lot about that, though. And I know that the same creator as of... Pardon me, the creator, or I think one of the stars of Mighty Boosh, is going on to make some sort of weird cartoon, or not cartoon, but live-action show about a motel or a hotel or a Holiday Inn. It's a hotel where all these crazy monsters show up. Oh, man. Come on, dainty little finger. No. I heard the live show of Mighty Boosh is a bit of a mess. But maybe that's just... Maybe that's not here or there. Yeah, there was a character named Old Greg. He was awesome. Wait, am I thinking of Old Greg? No, yeah, Old Greg. He was kind of skeezy. But I was also thinking about the Spirit of Jazz. Like, I own you. I own you. Chicka chow. Chicka, ow! Ow! My hat's on fire. What's wrong with you, man? Why didn't you tell me? He said, I'm sorry. I thought that was part of your look. He said, like, no, that's not part of my look, man. And that was a new hat, too. Damn. I'm going to get out of here. Ain't no exit back there. There's a toilet. Charlie gamma, Charlie gamma, bubble gamma, Charlie gamma, bubble gamma, Charlie gamma, bubble gum. This is my visual novel. This is the scribblings of a retard. Oh boy, Rick, I don't think you could say that word. See. Thumb's way too big. That's a Megan Fox thumb. Who was the Eels guy? I forget. Oh, the Hitcher, yeah. God, there's so much good music, and I can't remember some of it. Although I want to. Let's see. There was the Hitch. No, damn it. This is right. Well, hey, tweak up that hand a little bit. Actually, the whole thing looks a little bit off. Have I seen the Mike Tyson Mysteries yet? Yeah, I've seen one episode. I saw the first episode, and actually, I think I just seen the first episode. But it was a good one. I liked it. It's an interesting premise. Apparently, a ghost tells Mike Tyson to not be such a jerk. I like Norm Macdonald. I was watching a bunch of the KFC commercials yesterday. I got on a kick. One of them came on before a video. One came on before a video, and I just Googled it, or not Googled it. I searched it, and I just started watching. Isn't that right, family of four? Who lives in the back of my limo? That's right. Now the fingers are a little too short. Actually, they just look plain weird. I'm going to have to go over that again. Here. Let's see, that's the second finger, and the middle finger is always the longest, so. Yeah, it's decent enough. Let's see. Thought we were bound by. Well, I don't know what that means. Was there ever a familiar face you wanted to do but couldn't for some reason? Well, there's sort of a. Sometimes I just can't find the material. Sometimes, yeah, it's mainly about if I don't think that if I don't have all the materials to do what I want, I'll kind of put it on the back burner. What do you call a camel with 3 humps? Pregnant. Ah. I don't know. Curve this last finger up a little bit. Bring it in. Yeah, screw it. I'll just hide it behind this one. Do you ever watch Super Friends? What, the old show? No. I mean, I used to, back when they were rerunning it on Cartoon Network all the time. There, that's fine. Done with that hand. There we go. Well, it's the joke that I just said about the camel and the three humps. The joke itself is not the joke. The joke is him reacting, and even it was done in a funny way with him with the facial animation. At least I think so. Been getting a lot of hits on Animal Olympics ever since that movie showed up. See, is that too long? No. No, it fits the other one just fine. CR, was there a bag of mulch? What? Daddy, you promised not to ice anybody at my wedding. I'm sorry, honey. Oh, sweetheart, I have to. Which that joke only reminds me more of Moonbeam City. The season finale. It's like it's gonna be hard to hit this mob boss. He's incredibly elusive and oh, he's right there. What is this bag of mulch thing? Yeah, I watched some BoJack Horseman. I thought it was good. Just give me my muffins. Just give me my muffins. Or. The drug trip episode is the saddest thing ever. Well, actually, that came in. I know there's an episode in season 2 that's kind of the saddest thing ever that relates to that, but and not sad in the oh I feel bad for this character. Sad in oh my god, what a scumbag. There we go. Move it towards where my hand wants to go. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've read Black Sad. Yeah, I've read a bunch of them. Yeah, really good comic. I think he's a former Disney animator himself, which is why all of those scenes in the comic look so great. I'm going to add a little bit of some cuffs here. And maybe blend in the rest of this so it doesn't look so disconnected. Oh, I was thinking about the episode yesterday of I was thinking about what was it? Steven Universe. I was thinking about that episode again. A couple revelations about what was going on with Sapphire and Ruby and Garnet, and I guess it's safe to say we can assume that they were the ones that may have inspired the cluster project. You know, trying to see if blending all these different types of gems would result in something. But also one thing that kind of perplexed me was Pearl getting ready to attack a harmless Sapphire. I don't know. It's like I gotta watch that episode again and see, because it looks like Pearl was just ready to like dice Sapphire up. In that case, why would Pearl do that? I mean, all the other enemy gems were attacking them at first. Unless Pearl knew that the Sapphire was probably could tell the future and was an important part of, getting rid of them. So they wanted to get rid of her first. I don't know. Yeah, again, and that's another thing. Why would Ruby be so freaked out about Sapphire being, turned into a rock when, like, Sapphire was like, I'll see you reformed back on the home planet. You know, it's like it's reforming doesn't seem to. I don't know. It doesn't. It's like regeneration for Time Lords, except even less evasive, since it's not a total change. Or maybe it is, I don't know. So it's like Ruby was trying to save Sapphire from something that wasn't that big of a deal. And it also seemed to imply that yeah, I'm talking about the crystal gems. Let's see, it also seemed to imply that their powers came from their emotions. Like, Sapphire froze in place, and Ruby was hot for Sapphire. And apparently those powers were not manifested before then. And also another thing. Does Peridot know that she can shapeshift like the other crystal gems? Because there was one scene where Peridot locks herself in the bathroom, and she wants to try and flush herself down the toilet to freedom. I was thinking, why couldn't she change herself into a goldfish? I mean, aside from the obvious problem that Peridot doesn't know what a goldfish is. Is it like they have to see the animal first, and then they can kind of realize? Is it because they've only been around gems for so long that they're like, oh, well, gems are gems. There's no other different type of animal. And they have to see the animal first to imagine it. It's like, oh, wow, that's something neat and new. Maybe I could change into that. But even then, why couldn't Peridot grow to her normal proportions after she lost her armor? That's another thing. I don't know. It just seemed a little bit of a. I was just thinking about that today. This is packing everything up. And of course, there's like a trailer showing that there might be a point where Peridot betrays the gems because Yellow Diamond shows up. But we all know that she's... Well, actually, no. That would actually be interesting. If she got to Yellow Diamond and then was just like... had no feelings whatsoever about just not being loyal to them at all. I think that would be a real interesting twist for a character. Because it's always like, oh no, they're my friends now. And it's like, well, hey, thanks for helping me survive up to this point, but I'm just going to take off. You know, thank you, but, you know, go die. These damn flowers. I could cut and paste, but I mean, copy and paste, but I don't want to do that. I want this to look a little bit organic. I like to go the extra mile when I'm doing a commission. And I was going to say, at what point did they decide that fusing gems would be an okay thing to do? It's like they saw that one, and Blue Diamond was so adamant about destroying the two offending gems on sight. At what point were they like, oh, you know what? Hey, maybe this is a good thing. And actually, it would be interesting to see a... I was thinking, because Blue Diamond was so against it, I wonder if at some point Yellow Diamond was like, oh, really? They can fuse and they become something different. They become bigger. I wonder if we can use this. And then Blue Diamond would be a purist to be like, no, you can't do that. And then Yellow Diamond just straight up murders Blue. I'm sorry, shatters. And why would the gems be shattered if by poofing them, they could... Oh, I was referring to that great giant battle at the strawberry field, you know, where that took place. I was going to say, why would the crystal gems smash the gems when... And I was thinking, oh yeah, it's probably because they weren't the ones doing the smashing. And also, Garnet has to become a fighter at some point. Think about that. I mean, because, let's see, I think there was one line where Garnet meets the Pearl, and she refers to Pearl as a terrifying renegade. Which is a cute way of thinking of Pearl. So at some point, she's got to, like, I don't know, choose her own outfit, become a fighter, become kind of the leader of the Crystal Gems after Rose takes off. Well, not takes off, I mean fuses with her baby. That's weird. That's a weird thought. Oh, stretching my arms. Let's see. Yeah, so that would be interesting to actually see some development in that sense. And you'd think Peridot would be interested in seeing Garnet, you know, because if there's some sort of history on all this and how the cluster project came about, you think Garnet would kind of be, if not famous, infamous. And that Peridot wouldn't look at Garnet and be like, oh, wow, that's the thing. It'd be kind of like meeting a celebrity, or meeting not a celebrity, maybe a famous specimen. Like if you can meet that first sheep that was cloned. There's way more detail on these than these, so I gotta go in and just maybe he can't heal himself. Maybe he can only... someone brought up the point of, let's see, Steven has healing powers, yet he didn't heal his eye in Breakout. Maybe he can only heal others. Actually, that's another thing. Would Connie's eyesight be considered an illness? Because if it was, like... I mean, think about it. Would it be considered a malady? It might be, if her nearsightedness or farsightedness were brought on by some sort of illness. But if it's just sort of a genetic thing, then why would it heal her eyes? Is there any other CO shows that I watch? Of course I watch. I love The Amazing World of Gumball. I don't know. Maybe it's just because these aren't as big as these. Here, I got an idea. I'll fix this. There we go. I'll just thicken them up a little bit. Add some more. Add another layer or two. Yeah, that did it. But can it be considered a form of physical damage under Wolf? I'm saying, was it? I mean, if it's genetic, and if you were like born that way, or if you like grew that way, would it could be considered a disease or like something to be healed? I just don't know. I mean, I consider healing some sort of physical damage that shouldn't be taking place, like, like what happened, the crack in Amethyst's gem, or like an actual broken arm or something like that. And why doesn't that doctor invite Steven to just spit and cup all? It's like, hey, Steven, could you just, like, save your spit so I can just feed it to people at the hospital? That's sort of how things really wouldn't work. I mean, they work in the cartoon, but they really wouldn't work in real life, because people in real life would be like, hey, here's this amazing solution to a bunch of problems. Okay, poor eyesight comes from weakened corneas, retinas, etc. Eyesight can get worse and worse. Actually, I was always taught that poor eyesight can come from just growth. Like if your body grew in a certain way, sometimes the lens in your eye would stretch after puberty. That's what happened to me. I had pretty good eyesight up until 12, and then I got nearsighted. And then, of course, my eyesight got slightly worse once I started to stare at a computer screen all day. But not too bad. Every time I go get a checkup, it's like, oh, it's barely changed. It's like, good. It's like, really? Because I've been burning my retinas out drawing flowers all the time. Uncle Grandpa is pretty good. I like it for the visual kind of storytelling they have. The visual jokes. They do real good there. They come up with some decent premises, like Uncle Grandpa wanting to be a tire. I thought that was actually pretty decent. I mean, I would never have suspected, and it was a pretty good episode. With him wanting to be a tire all the time, and the others having to force him, find a way to make being a tire not look cool. By the way, this came about because there was a flat tire on the van, and he didn't have a spare, so he became his own tire, and then found out he actually liked it. I was surprised. I was thinking Uncle Grandpa would be terrible, but it actually turned out fine. And it's not because of the humor. It's actually because of an earlier show called Team Mountain Fortress or something like that. Mountain Fortress Awesome. Which I didn't like very much. What do you think of the Uncle Grandpa voice? Because that always throws me off. I think it's fine. I think it's something everybody can do. That's the funny thing, is that now that they've let the creators are now coming up with the voices. They're not getting professional voice actors. They're just doing it themselves. It's like, I am Grunkle Stan. Well, that was actually more Mo than Grunkle Stan, but you know what I mean. It's like, anyone could do a real gruff voice. And anyone could do this kind of goofy voice. So they kind of, or they just have people do their own voices. Like the creator of Regular Show. So they're kind of, yeah. I mean, they get voice actors to do voices they can't do, but I was just thinking about that. That was kind of a turn. Of course, some creators just have really unique voices, like the creator of Flapjack, who was also Gideon. I'm going to release a review of Cabin Boy, the little, or not little known, but the kind of secret, not even secret, just kind of the least known movies under Tim Burton's belt. And I'm going to I'm going to title it as a Flapjack movie. It's like, I think I'm going to do this for April Fools. And it's going to be just a review of Cabin Boy, but I'm going to review it like it was a Cartoon Network original movie of Flapjack. Because it's really startling how it kind of overlaps. And this all comes about by the fact that they have the voice actor of Knuckles. He plays a character in the movie. And there's a bunch of like weird stuff with icebergs coming alive. And the original character, Elliot, he's played by Chris Elliott, and he's kind of a little sissy at the beginning of the movie, and he goes on a quest to toughen himself up. And people all hate him, but they kind of like him because he tries his best. Well, that actually looks really good. I should have just been going looser on all this from the beginning. Okay, I think I'm finally starting to relax around you guys. Because that was good. That was a bit of spontaneity that I've been looking at for the past year. Nice. Oh, that hat. I thought it was directed by Tim Burton, or was it just? Or was it just produced? Oh, good. Pyramid just joined Channel Frednator today. You'll do fine. I joined that channel to get a little bit of immunity in case they came after some of my videos. So, which is why I post on 2 channels. Like, I have The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror on my Frednator channel, and they get like a 30% cut out of everything I make over there. On that one, it's my most successful video. Because guess what? Even though The Simpsons is in huge decline, people still love classic Simpsons. And my Olaf video. That one's pretty good too. People seem to really like that one. I might do this sort of thing earlier tomorrow, like during the day, because I don't think I have anything to do. So I may just, like, start, I don't know, early. I'm gonna give you guys some more heads up on this. But let's see, I do this and then I draw other things during the day when I don't have to talk and think about what I'm saying. No, just... There we go. What happened to the green M&M video? There's a lot of videos that were taken down that I needed to go down in order to get back in good standing. It's too thick. Still too thick. What happened? Still too thick. I'm going to go manual. There we go. No, not thick enough. The brachies one I got to put back up. There's a lot of them. And I'll probably start working on it. The problem is that you go in, you try and fix the problem about what got flagged in the first place. And, you try your best to kind of either take it out, because if you ask yourself, is it really needed? Do I really need it? And if it's yes, then you try and, finagle it as best as possible. And if you can't do that, then sometimes you got to cut your losses and just say, okay, well, I'm going to put in a counterclaim to it. And most of the time, it comes out real good. If Viacom doesn't put a claim on it, then mostly it'll clear within a day. Warner Brothers is actually pretty decent on that. Like, I put in Baby Doll, the one for Baby Doll, and that was cleared in about, an hour. Maybe it's because the Nostalgia Critic was in it. I don't know. But then the Tracy one, that one cleared in about a day, because I couldn't. It just kept on catching on. I forget what episode it was, but it's something I needed to put on there. Oh yeah, the transformation sequence. It kept getting caught on that, and I was like, no, I can't take it out. And I don't want to use a bunch of slide frames. I was going to say, you could see the green M&M one on Blip, but that's all gone. Stupid, sexy Cree Summers. Oh. Oh, more flowers. I missed them. Well, Blip got shut down because, let's see, Blip got shut down because it was bought out by Disney. And I guess Disney didn't want to flip the bill for it anymore when they could just run their own channels on YouTube and have YouTube pay for all the service fees, or, all the stuff. And they still have the Video Maker, let's see, what is it, Video Maker third party kind of thing going on. And it was funny because Blip actually created the League of Super Reviewers, the whole thing that Doug was on. And I was originally asked to be part of that. But I was kind of looking over the contract and I was like, I don't know. Something about this seems fishy. And indeed, there was fish. Because it got kind of shut down after a while. Although, like I said, I signed up with Fred Nader after that because I got flagged and lost my monetization on the account for a while, on my main account, this account. So I was like, okay, I'll just sign on and get money on the side. When in actuality, all I needed to do was just, make a good statement about the fact that it was fair use and it was mostly my dialogue and I was using it, I'm not taking credit for anything. And Fox was cool with that, I guess. No, what the hell? Oh, I drew on the wrong layer. Yeah, I'm not cleaning that up. And I don't need to, because those were the last two. If Frednator are a good company, you know what? They do a lot of, they do support their clients good. I mean, it's a third-party thing. It's not really part of Frednator. You know, I mean, who knows? You might get picked up by... Damn it, I did it again. Content might be picked up, but they do a lot of things where they ask people to produce videos for them, and they'll pay you $100 for each video that they produce, but they get to put it on their own channel and get the money for it. And you just get the initial $100, and now that same video, combined with Frednator's fan base, could make them a lot more money than that $100. So, again, you use them more than they use you. How can I put that? I mean, because if that initial $100 video that they'll pay you makes you it'll make you $100, and you'll get paid in exposure, which is one of the worst things you can tell an artist. And that's one thing that they had in the email about that thing. It says, hey, guess what? Well, you'll get $100 on the video, and you'll get paid in exposure. Which actually could pay off, in a way, the first time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think you need to work on your chops, and exposure is good and all, but exposure won't do any good if they won't stick around. And people on YouTube are finicky as hell. It's like, it's funny. I lost a bunch of followers one day, but then I got 3 times as many back. It's like every time I do like a Let's Play of Hearthstone or something like that, there'll be a dip in followers, but then I'll get like 3 times as many for something else. So it's kind of weird the way it's set up, or the way people kind of perceive it on YouTube. I have no idea what this little symbol is, and I can't find a detailed portrait. Oh wait, no, I can. Oh, and it froze. Jim Sterling, I haven't watched any of his videos. I caught him a few times on... sorry, the thing froze. I caught him a few times on the Co-Optional podcast, and he was also in the animation of the Co-Optional podcast. But no, I haven't seen any of his work. I've watched. I don't need that. I watched. What is it? I watched Jesse Cox a couple times. And it's not Psy that froze. It's my image viewer for some reason that froze. But I am going to save this while it is acting wonky. Let's see, I watch Krendor sometimes. In fact, I catch their podcast all the time. Damn it, it froze again. Can't do this without not looking at anything. Viacom is doing something about streaming. Nintendo is also doing, they want you to pay for their streaming services or streaming their games. She's like, I don't know. It's like, I think all the companies are starting to get in on this. And I don't think it's good. Oh, the voice acting podcast that Rob Paulsen does is Talking Tunes. Talking Tunes with Rob Paulsen. I saved just now. There was that one time, the first podcast I ever did of this, I went through the whole video without saving. So that was the thing. Actually, this is starting to shape up. Here, let's see what this is. Okay, it's a little fire thing on the top. It wasn't just plumes, it was fire. That little lock of hair is a little off center, but it'll be fine for now. I got to get some sleep. Hope to see you more soon. Okay, hey, see you, Scott. Should newer software have autosave feature? Pardon me. It should. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm belching. I had a really good. I made tostadas tonight, but I looked online for some taco mix. You know, the spices. I was in the supermarket today, and I picked up some orange sauce because I got also, aside from the Wi-Fi booster, I got a rice cooker for Christmas. And I want to make some nice, fluffy Chinese food style rice. And I was picking up some orange sauce because I know how to make orange chicken. And I looked over and they had taco spice in the same aisle. I was like, oh. And it was like they were asking like $1.50 for it. And I was like, I was about to reach for it. And I was like, I bet there's a recipe online. And sure enough, there was. And it was good. It was just, like cumin and paprika and all that stuff. But it's the stuff I guess all the restaurants use to make everything taste good. And it's weird. Usually I just put garlic salt on it, and it doesn't taste the same. Time to do this big ass sombrero. Damn it. Looks like this is going to have to be one of those things where I inch it along. Well, like someone said, imagine hand drawing this character in but the autosave. No, this is a free program. You can't blame it for not having an autosave. You can kind of blame it for not having a circle button, like a circle cursor and stuff like that. But he needed you can blame it for that. And then someone just said, why does Rob Paulsen need a Patreon? For expenses, he does this kind of on his own. I would prefer if he went back to the old style of things where he would take his microphone to different places. He's kind of got it set up now where he goes to, there's one comedy club or something that he goes to every night or so. Yeah, I'm just gonna have have to blend this in a bit. And is that too big? Is that line too thick? It might be a little too thick. So it's expenses about booking and not booking, but you know, just traveling expenses. I heard was one of them. You know, entertainment's not exactly free anymore. Okay, I'm just gonna try one big loop. Damn. Nope. 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 Oh, man. I just have to go in and sneak it in like this. And again, I think I made the line too thick. Damn it. What tablet am I using? I am using it as, I'm using an Heaven tablet. It's not a screen tablet or anything like that, I wish. And also the bit's a little wonky. It's totally wore down on a certain side. And it kind of spins in its little thing. I should get another one. But you know, I got this thing for like $60. And it's been doing good. And I look and I try to see another affordable something like that. And it's all the screen tablets. Or heck, they don't even have them at Best Buy anymore. I remember I bought my first one at Best Buy, and then they stopped carrying them, and I got my second one at the next two at a Fry's Electronics they have out here. It's shaped like a big Mayan temple. It's pretty cool. Damn it, damn it, damn it. And then, but it's all online, and the people online are like, I mean, I don't really trust buying that kind of thing online. Oh, sure, I'll buy a lampstand for like $15, but I won't. I don't like buying big pieces of electronics. Well, let's see. Okay, someone said, getting back to Rob Paulson, okay, as long as he improved and can give the fans what he wants. It's a little weird since I want him to do... I want him to go back to what he was doing, and he would just go... he would go and pack up his little computer and his little microphone and go around to people's homes or offices or out to lunch or stuff like that, and it was kind of small and intimate. But now he does it at a club, and he has to kind of play it towards the people, which is fine. But that kind of eats into time, and that kind of, you know, the guests want they're all performers. How does that even look? I don't like it. Damn it, that's not what I wanted to do. There. And this program does have sort of a let's see, how can I put this? It does have a vector program, but it stinks. Watch. Well, actually, it's a little wobbly right there. I don't like it. I was going to say, for big things like this, I would kill for this to have some Illustrator capacity. And it kind of does. Wait, what? Why did it quit on me? Oh. Okay. Let's see, and then you can change the weight of it. Yeah, but it's irregular at certain spots. And you can't do anything to edit. Ooh, please. There. See, it doesn't have that kind of smooth feeling that Illustrator has, which is weird. Again, like I said, this is a free program, so I can't get mad at it for it, but there's that weird, it's kind of like a straight curve. Here. No, I don't want to do that. I don't know what this is. Oh, that's joining. That's moving the whole thing. Okay, yeah, that's just to make it straight, and that doesn't help. Yeah, see, it's worse than just me drawing on it. Let's get rid of these two lines. Yeah, that'll look fine. Yeah. Okay, that turned out pretty good. Just blend these lines together a little bit. Yeah, that'll work. That's fine for good enough for government work. Well, I know why Illustrator is smoother, because it's just Illustrator. It's nice. And this is kind of it's the best pen I've ever seen. It's got a great stabilizer. It's fantastic. But yeah, it's not Illustrator. And Illustrator has its points. It's precision, but it's slow. I mean, I would make lines like this, and it would shorten it. It would kind of be a little wonky. And it didn't have a stabilizer, so to make this one line, I would have to redraw it about 3 times because it would go too, my hand would go too fast, and I'd have to slow down. There. Something's weird going on. There. I got late. I came to the digital game late. I would scan in ink drawings and ink drawings and try to color that, and they came out. You know, they had that jaggy line quality. And then I would scan in pencil lines and draw on the top of that with Photoshop. But the Photoshop pen didn't really work. Actually, and this is embarrassing, I had my tablet was not calibrated correctly. I had to go in. I finally went in after a while and decided just to look into the options setting, and finally recalibrate it so that it makes an even circle when I make an even circle. Before then, if I wanted to make a circle, I would have to shorten it because the motion I would do to make a circle would actually end up making an oval. Even though I literally took a drafting tool that had little circles on it, and I drew a circle, and it would still come up as a long oval. And I just sat there and I was like, oh man, I guess I've got the wrong computer. Never figuring out that the tablet might have settings and stuff. But now, thanks to the internet, if you have a question, you can just look it up. For example, I was doing some 3D modeling. Now I'm going to try and get into that, and I was following some tutorials, and I was going along really great until I rendered something, and it was the face, it had this weird line on it. And I do this in Blender. It's a free program. You can check it out yourself. It had this weird, weird texture over it and a weird crease in the line when there wasn't one. And I just typed in the question. I said, weird texture in Blender. And sure enough, someone had the same problem. And they said, oh, that's easy. All you just need to do is hit Control-N, and that'll renormalize everything. And then I don't know what that means. The guy didn't sit there and explain it, but sure enough, all the faces were turned out fine. And he said he had something to do about you pulling the vertices or resetting it, and it twisting the faces inside out or something like that. I don't know. Well, yeah, it's one commission. The guy kind of people do this thing with commissions because I have a sort of a deal where it's like, okay, I'll do a single character for this much, and if you want the two characters interacting with each other or just two characters in the same photo, it's just $10 more. And sometimes people ask for two characters doing two completely different things. And sometimes I'll call them out on it, and sometimes I'll just say, okay, well, I'm gonna do something where I don't have to draw both characters. I draw both characters, but in an interesting way. So I might be having Claudette, doing a little funny mime pose here, like bending down, her body stretched over here. Maybe have her body stretched in a possible space where her fanny's right here with her tail, and she's kind of having this weird mime box pose here. I think that would also be good because I don't know how I would put her behind any of this space. And why he wanted Claudette as just a mime and not a specific mime character when this is one character dressing up as another character is a little is just I don't know, a little odd to me. I mean, I can sort of realize that it's got something to do with their nationality, like she's Spanish, and this is a Spanish character, and Claudette is, I guess, French. Katsose was using her Fifi LaFew, or rather her French accent for her, even though I'm not exactly sure what country Claudette was supposed to be from. Claudette Dupree, I guess it is French. Yeah, that's fine. problem with Blender's game engine is if you try to build something that isn't designed... Well, I'm not trying to build anything for a game. I'm just doing some animation and maybe just some model things. I have a program called Clip Studio Paint, and they have things where you can use a model to make your own pose. And you can actually make your own model in a different program, rig it, save it as an object or something, and then be able to bring that in there too. So I was just thinking, hey, maybe I could make my own models, save some time on rigging and stuff like that. I don't know, I play with all these different programs in different ways and get some interesting results. Oh, skulls, skulls, skulls. Sugary skulls. Hold the dark holiday in your hand. Oh, I miss you, Leonard Nimoy. I'm not even that big of a Star Trek fan. I just like the actor. And the line I was quoting is, of course, from the Halloween tree. And I was just watching the riff tracks to the new Star Wars movie. And of course, they've got the funky Spock song. Funky Spock, give me some of that funky Spock. Well, oh, baby, not the funky Spock. Oh, my voice just cracked. I know that Pencil Man is free, not Pencil Man. I forget whatever program Pixar was using. I know that they released that for public. You know, they made it available to the public. Okay, so the skull is actually just lines. It's not that skull shape. It's just this. Okay, very good. That'll save some time. And I'm gonna copy some of these. I'm not gonna draw each and every one of them. The flowers are organic. These skulls are kind of handmade and processed, so that'll be fine. Yeah, Leonard, I just found out, like, when I found out Leonard Nimoy did that voice, I mean, I was a fan of that movie forever. And when I found out it was Leonard Nimoy, I was blown away, because it didn't sound anything like him. It sounded kind of like him if you realized it was the same person, you can kind of pinpoint where his voice may be broken a certain way. Not broke, but kind of overlapped. But he got very guttural. It's like the only other time I remember any other character being like that. It's like I was surprised Shatner was the villain in Escape from Planet Earth, which just recently showed on Cartoon Network, and I was actually surprised. It was surprisingly decent. I mean, I don't know why it got such a bad rap. It seemed fine. Maybe it's because I missed like maybe 10 minutes of it. Maybe something horrible happened in those 10 minutes. But other than that, I thought it was an okay movie. It's kind of like that and Planet 52 weren't bad movies. It's just, I guess they never picked up a following, or they kind of just died in the theaters for some reason. Yeah, I'm drawing this on a different layer, so it'll be fine. Let's see. Am I excited about the new MST3K? I don't know. I just haven't been. I really haven't been that interested in it. I thought Rift Tracks kind of took over where MST3K left off, and frankly, just between you, me, and the floorboards, and the million people on the internet, I kind of figured Mike took over. Did a good job taking over from Joel. I'm not to bring up any Mike or Joel arguments. I'm getting a drink of water. Not to bring up any of that stuff up, but they both had amazing funny runs, amazing funny jokes. They just have a different style to them. Joel's more deadpan. Mike's a little bit more animated. But I was kind of like, Rift Tracks is fine. Rift Tracks was good. And I'm still not sure if... I still haven't looked into it. I was saying, is Mike and the non-bots, are they involved with the new Rift Tracks coming back? I assume they kind of would be, but... And I would only assume that wouldn't... The only problem with that would be if Rift Tracks weren't making them as much money as they needed to keep doing things. Or just hell, if not enough money as they wanted. Because that happens, you know. People want to move on to green pastures, and if people are all pirating those videos, then that's a problem. I'm going to be honest with you. I've watched more than my fair shares of Rift Tracks compilations, even though I do support by buying every short I can find. Damn, water tastes good after you've been talking for about an hour. Let's see. Yeah, I buy all the shorts because I like them. They're done in a pre-packaged, and I've also bought a bunch of movies from them. But also at the same time, they're featured on Hulu and like Rift Tracks, and they've even started putting up old episodes of MST3K on an official YouTube website. But that's neither here nor there. That might be trying to get more people interested in the Kickstarter. Which, hey, if he can get it off the ground, good for him. But I was kind of digging the Rift Tracks, the setup that they have there. If I really wanted to see a movie get made fun of, I would just download the Rift Tracks, own the movie, and just go from there. It's like... Will the new MST3K be able to do a riff of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? Probably not. Meanwhile, Rift Tracks can still go back and do things like the Planet of the Dinosaurs and Ghost House. And stuff like that. I mean, there's no real loss with Rift Tracks. In fact, there's more gains than losses. So it's kind of like, hey, if Rift Tracks were failing in some way, I would totally support it. But from what I can tell, it's not. Now, if you can point me to some sort of link where Mike says, yes, we're very interested in going back to MST3K because the Rift Tracks thing isn't holding up as well. More people are pirating the thing than actually watching them, and yeah, that would be a better way for us to make a living off what we do. But it seemed more or less that Joel was interested in bringing it back. Yeah, and someone said, okay, hey, good night, Lugia. Yeah, it would be nice. It's nice to see the Joel and the bots all together again. But again, I can kind of imagine that. I can kind of imagine that already. I don't need to. I mean, it's funny that Mike is still named Mike. Oh, and the Christmas movies. I've bought in all the Christmas movies that they've had. The Enchanted Christmas Tree and Santa's Crazy Village, and all those are good. Let's see, Chad, would you like to see more anime movies that take inspiration, art direction, and/or animation-wise from Blue Skies, the Peanuts movie, or Disney's Paper Man? You know, that reminds me, and yeah, I guess so. Well, I think it's pretty. I think that Peanuts movie looked good. I don't know about the script. I think people liked it, but maybe that's just because they liked Peanuts. Paper Man was pretty good. I think they used the same technique to make. I think they were using that same technique on Lion Guard, because Lion Guard is weird. It's a lot more fluid animation, but you can definitely tell it's like on a rig of some sort. So I was watching it, and sometimes they look like a 3D model. Like, there's definitely times where Timon, who is the most human-like character on the show, there was times where he looked like he was on a model, and there was times when they all looked like they were on a model, but they had like lines over them, especially if you zoomed in too much on them. So I don't know if they're like converting that, using that for TV animation to like make things look a little bit more fluid, but at the same time, a little bit more structured and save time on production, because it's a rig. It's just a really complex, nice looking one. And yes, I do have commission prices. They're on my website. I should probably stick those in the video description. Someone approached me and they want me to draw that little panda from. And this year, since I don't have to worry about doing a drawing a day, I can definitely make more money by doing more commissions. And, being like, oh, well, at least, I can just take my time with commissioned work and focus on. Because sometimes commissions, like I said, they're like this, where it's like, hey, can you do this really detailed character model? It's like, yeah, sure. I'll just sit here and do that. The little panda from what was that, Littlest Pet Shop? Something about being, because she scored higher on a cuteness test from Mojo.com or something. I don't know. I'd pick Night of the Demons 3 as a potential MST3K candidate. And that would be a good one. Yeah, I guess more 80s movies would be pretty good to to feature on that. I mean, they mainly did a bunch of movies from like the 50s and 60s and some movies from the 70s during the very last run. I wouldn't mind seeing The Brain on MST3K or Night of the Creeps. Stuff Sci-Fi used to run all the time anyway and now don't. Remember when Sci-Fi would just have a whole day of just weird movies and you would only occasionally see like a TV series or something? And now it's like a marathon of like that puppet show or, you know, like what was it? Not Masters of Disguise, something like that. Where, you know, the Face Off. There we go, Face Off. I'm thinking of every other movie. It's like, yeah, that movie. Oh gosh, what was it? Sorcerer's Apprentice. Every other Nicolas Cage movie. Let's see, what was it? Phenomena. Yeah, you know, with the show where they do makeup. Okay, I believe The Lion Guard is animated by Mercury Films, who are really good at Toon Boom, similar to Titmouse. And that's the thing. I could have sworn they would use the similar setup. Are you familiar with the Hungarian animator? No. What did he do, Baz? I'd look it up right now, but I'm a bit busy. I'm gonna have the skull in front of this. It's like, okay, you guys sold me. But again, like I said, Riff Tracks could totally do those movies. I mean, I don't think they would. You know, maybe you're right. Maybe there is a place for MST3K and a place for Riff Tracks, because Riff Tracks could focus on the newer films like Twilight and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff like that, while MST3K would be forced to kind of look at the more obscure, affordable movies. Draw some skulls. Okay, in fact, I'd love to see chat. Okay, I'm still kind of waiting for Baz to reply on the Marcel Jakovic. Okay, Son of the White Mare, Tragedy of Man, and a ton of other shorts. Oh, I think I've seen that. Are you talking about, like, like where the guy eats himself or something? Stuff like that. I don't know. I saw a bunch of different weird shorts. Yep, still good. Taking another stretch. I'll have to look that up later. I don't know. Sometimes when a show gets a revival, it's not quite the same. Like Futurama rarely hit what it used to be like when it was originally on Fox. And that's just because you got different people working on the show. at different times. I mean, sometimes you can't get writers back, and sometimes there's a difference in schedule, and it's not any actual fault of any of the producers. It's just that it doesn't quite feel the same. I'm gonna get rid of this eyeball. A video brincudo. No, I don't. What have they made? Are they responsible for those Titanic animated movies, or? Oh, someone asked me if I ever what anime do I watch. I don't know if it counts as animation, but and the Breaky videos got flagged because it had a little picture. It had a clip of Universal Soldier, the part where the evil Universal Soldier held up his necklace of ears. And I was using that in lieu of, like, hey, how you kind of destroy all these things. How you destroy the breakies and then you get to keep them as trophies. Okay, so they're responsible for the little pandy kiki fighter, the Splat Doink or whatever. Do they also make those crayon movies? There was a movie about different colored crayons. You see them all the time in Walmart or Walmart especially. I don't know how they get by anything. It's like Walmart will stock anything, apparently. And most of those movies are starring Rob Schneider or Drake Bell. There was one of those movies that was like Up, but it was like Up in the Air or something like that, but they had the word Up in big, huge font. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. How I never, ever have seen... Someone just said, I can see why New York banned Walmart. And I was thinking, it's funny. I've never seen a Walmart in New York. It's never been a setting, ever. And you think a Walmart would be perfect for New York. Like, have you ever seen those photos of, hey, look who's shopping at Walmart, and it's always a woman who has no pants on, or a 400-pound toddler or something like that, or a guy with a tinfoil hat, or you think that would be a magnet for all the people in New York. Rob Schneider is a crab. Oh no, I'm a crab. I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa. Now he's got to something crab. Rated PG-13. But yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think there'd be any space in New York for a Walmart. I mean, how many blocks would a Walmart want? It's funny. Back when I would go up to a little place called in Strawberry up north. There was three towns basically super close to each other, so it's kind of created a community. There was Payson, Strawberry, and Pine. Pine was this little rinky-dink town in between. Let's see. I was just looking at all the Rob Schneider comments. Let's see. Yeah, there was Pine, which was this really small town, but still bigger than Strawberry. But anyway, in Payson, they had this little strip mall, and they had just put in a Walmart. And I sort of saw the town kind of morph to reflect that the Walmart was there. A lot of little shops went out of business. Actually, no, there was a dealership. No, they put in the dealership after I had left. And they still had a bunch of little small businesses, but I don't know. I don't know what they did before that. There must have been several general stores. But the point is that the Walmart kind of became the center of commerce in that little small town. That and the Albertsons they had across the street. Yes, literally just the street. There was like two roads, one going one way up to the smaller towns, and one crossroad that I don't know where the hell it went. I don't think there was anything out there except maybe California in about a few hundred miles. Not even California. We were too far up. No, wait. Yeah, maybe. But God, I have got good memories of that place. They had this video store that was huge, like gigantic, like about the size. Let's see. What was I gonna say? I'm trying to figure out a good way to compare it to something, but it was just huge. It might have been the size of a regular size, like maybe a Fry's. And it was giant, and they had they just stockpiled all sorts of movies. I don't think they've ever gotten rid of them ever since the VHS was around. Because of course you're in a small community. You're the only video store around. So unless you want to buy the movie from Walmart, you can go to this place and just rent movies all the time. And they had tons of stuff. It's I used to think of myself as a connoisseur of video stores, and I was just floored by this place. And of course they had all the kind of crap that the straight to home market produced. The kind of stuff that would show up on the Cinema Snob. They would probably have To Catch a Yeti if it were still around. That kind of quality. I mean, they had all the other stuff too. Their kids section was gigantic. It's they had every Ninja Turtles video ever produced, and they had some Super Mario Brothers stuff, and just huge. It's yeah, you could spend a whole afternoon just looking at the different movies. Fry's store, FYI. It's a grocery market. It's a chain out here. That little bottom of the hat. Yeah, Yeah, that's not linking together. And yes, I will do the Zatch Bell. Not every Ninja Turtles film, every like video that that the cartoon released. You know, they had released all those videos on VHS. They had a copy of Animal Olympics, which I already saw a bunch of times. They had like Flight of the Dragons and just a bunch of cool stuff. Damn, the sombrero is so big I can't even comfortably get to it. There we go. Let's see. Blockbusters. I used to love Blockbusters, but yeah, they were a little bit pricey. And then I started going to what was it? Hollywood Video. Because they were the ones they held on to VHSs longer than Blockbuster, so I started going over there, and eventually they got rid of it all. Is that line just too thick? I think it might be too thick for my liking. Yeah, that's fine. That'll work out good. And then, of course, we have a little bunch of mom and pop stores. We had one recently that was still open until it burnt down. And I don't know what the story behind that is. It's just I went by it one time and it was open. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go back in there. And then I go back and like the whole strip is burnt down. And I could tell it wasn't knocked down. It was burnt down. And I guess it's still a vacant lot. I don't know if they're deciding on rebuilding it or not. And of course, they had this one place called Video. Was it Video Roundup? Yeah, I think it was, but that one closed. That was one of the first ones to close. It's now a plumbing supply store, which is weird because there was another video place up in Strawberry that did rent videos, but it was like super tiny. It was just this place. It was a plumbing store. But there was a side business in the back where you could rent videos. They had this big room, and the room was about the size of a small classroom. And there was no displays occupying the middle of the room. It was just all walls filled with videos. And they pretty much had the perpetual classics. They had like Terminator and First Blood, and they didn't go out of their way to get new movies. It was basically just you just went down one town. If you didn't want to go down the extra town, then you just stopped there. You go in and you say, yeah, I could watch Twins again. They had all the Tremor movies. I think that was like the most recent film they had, which was like Tremors 2 at that point. But I have good memories of that. That's actually they did have a okay kids section because they went out of their way to get a lot of weird. They went out of their way to get a lot of weird. I don't know where they got their videos from. Maybe a catalog. I think it was mostly Hanna-Barbera stuff. They must have gotten their hands on a Hanna-Barbera catalog and just like rented movies from there. Or not rented, but bought their movies from there. Because they had the Halloween tree and they had like a bunch of other things that Hanna-Barbera had at the time. They had a Squat Cats video. They had like a Yogi Bear compilation of all the old classic episodes. Yeah, it was good. But again, it was weird that it was a plumbing store. And it was weird that my favorite one growing up would become a plumbing store. God, that video place was cool. They had an arcade in the back. And I remember playing, I think it was the Goonies. It was this weird cabinet where you can actually choose your game. It had it was kind of like Action 52 except good. And they had Goonies, and you can play the Goonies game on that. It was weird because I remember they had the Goonies game on that, and I think they had Final Fantasy on that, which is weird. You wouldn't think a game like Final Fantasy would be an arcade game. But I remember characters walking in a line, and I remember them fighting a monster like that. I don't even need this line right here. And my mom was so proud of me. I remember this one time, this guy came up to me and he was going to give me a quarter. He wanted to give me some quarters to play some video games. And I didn't know who he was. I must have been like 2 at the time. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. And I just walked away. And I turned around and my mom's sitting there smiling. And she says, no, it's okay. He's a friend. He's a client of mine. You can take money from him. But that's good. What you did there, that was good. But he's okay. Because I just learned Stranger Danger from Pooh Bear. God, I remember that video. I used to own that video that the Cinema Snob reviewed. And it might be a little bit shocking, the Pooh Bear talk about that stuff, but that was legitimate fears. That was the legitimate fears of people at the time. The baby boomers that just wanted to take care of their kids. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, I was 2. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Maybe it wasn't. I definitely remember playing the Goonies. This kid who would throw bombs and stuff. And you'd walk along the thing. And I definitely remember some games similar to Final Fantasy. I don't think it was a cabinet setup because I remember the sticks. Let's see, what movies did I ever rent from that place? Like I said, I was mostly a kid, so I rented video games. I remember renting the Peanuts game, where you play different mini games with the Peanuts, and I never beat any of them because I don't know, I can't remember if it was a good game or a bad game. I just remember I couldn't figure it out. I rented the Little Mermaid video game from that place. These are all NESs, by the way. I don't think I was renting Super Nintendo video games from Blockbuster at the time. At some point, we quit going there and just went straight on to Blockbuster. I remember renting the Itchy and Krusty video game there that they had. CR, do you like Aqua Teen? And what's your favorite episode? Yeah, I kind of like Aqua Teen. Sometimes. I think it's okay. If I had to pick my favorite episode, I guess I'd do the... I don't know. I guess I kind of like that where they go to the island of the chickens and the marbles and the giant baby, I guess. And and the chickens having an actual, a candid discussion about their baby's, if he has developmental needs. He's all like, seriously, we should probably get him checked out, see if he's behind all the other giant babies. He's like, I'm not having no faggy doctor poke around my giant retarded baby. It was funnier in the setup, and it sounds less harsh in the series, but surprisingly harsh. But getting back to that video place, all of a sudden I'm just getting a rush of nostalgia. I rented, and it's the first time I saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I rented the Mona Lisa episode. I rented a bunch of Ninja Turtles from that place. I rented some weird anime about a living car and his boy, and they were always on the road, and the car ate like a mushroom and got a toothache or something like that. Okay, hey, good night, Pyramid. Let's see, is there any franchise series that you would like to see turned into a pen and paper? I don't play pen and paper, so I can't really think of it. I think it would be interesting if they made a pen and paper Paper Mario game. Just for the shits and giggles of it. Let's see if these skulls look okay. Yeah, looking good, looking good. We're not in the home stretch yet because I still got all this crap to do, but... And I gotta do little indentations on the... Have you ever rented the Pink Panther movies? I rented one Pink Panther movie thinking it was a cartoon. I think it was Pink Panther 3. Oh my gosh, I'm totally missing two other movie places. My parents used to they used to own a shop over in kind of between, let's see, what was it? It was between Scottsdale and Tempe. And there was a video place. It was a video place owned by this little old woman. Well, maybe not. She wasn't a little old woman. She was probably like my grandmother's age 10 years ago. So not that old, but seemed pretty old to me. And yeah, we would get movies from there. I forget what movies we used to get, but then after a while, that place closed down, and another video place was called Norms. And back when I would go after school, and during the summer, my parents were a little bit overprotective of me, And so I would, if my grandpa couldn't watch me, which he watched me all the time, then then I would go and have to go to work with them, which was fine. I used to get Jack in the Box 3-piece egg rolls that they had, and I would sit in the back and just watch cartoons because they had a little setup. And I was best friends with a little girl whose dad owned the dentist office in the he owned a dentist office next door, and she had a Nintendo set up, and I had a Nintendo set up, so we would kind of trade off and go in the back room of each other's stores or back room of the dentist's office. And we would play, that's the first time I've ever played McKids. Anyway, we would kind of hang out sometimes. Then there was Norm's, where I would just go and just walk around the video store. And in fact, I was extra naughty because I walked into the horror section. Yeah, I looked at all the covers to all the horror movies. Which was probably the worst thing you could do because the movies themselves weren't actually that bad compared to watching them later. Like I watched the only one that really spooked me and still spooked me after I watched it was The Stuff. But there was one where I think the Cinema Snob would do a bunch of them. Like there was one about let's see, the Killer Santa one. And he had a very small kids section. Not really much to talk about. I think he had the whole set of Earthworm Jim, and that's what I would rent sometimes. I would rent videos from him, just $1 a pop. I would rent some movies from him, and then if it was going to be a long weekend, I would return it right away. But if I was going to go back to him, like the next day or the next 2 days, then I would take it home and watch it with me. Watch it and then bring it back. Let's see. And then there was, all that. He had again a very meager kind of arcade setup where he had a racing game and I forget what else. I would mainly play the racing game. There was not else to speak of. I remember, although there was one big advantage to him, to my parents being friends with him, and that's he would give me all the reviewer copies, like the press release copies. Have you ever seen a video that says, warning, this is for promotional use only, do not distribute or resell? Well, apparently he used to get those all the time, and he would just throw either, the companies didn't want them back, so he would just give them back to me. I remember one time I got Chairman of the Board, which was that Carrot Top movie. He gave me the screener's release for that and the complimentary alarm clock that came with it. It was like if you bought like 3 copies or 5 copies, they would give you a display kit, and part of the display kit came with a alarm clock. And so yes, for about a couple years, I would wake up every morning to this giant, obnoxious Carrot Top face staring me, and that would be kind of the first thing I would see every morning. And maybe it was because the movie was free, but I kind of always enjoyed it. I mean, I knew it was never good, but I kind of liked it. It was a New Line movie, back when New Line was just putting out whatever. You know, New Line, famous for surf ninjas and stuff like that. But and then sometimes he'd get like little kid stuff. I remember him giving me thinking that I would really enjoy like some Blues Clues and what else was there? Blues Clues. Brother Bear was one of them. Not Brother Bear, Little Bear. That Nickelodeon show, which actually wasn't that bad for like a Nickelodeon show. I mean, it was no Rupert, but it was fine. But no, I did not watch the Blues Clues. So yeah, he would. That's what would happen sometimes. I think if I were a little older, he'd give me some of the good stuff. Or maybe he kept the good stuff for himself because he ran a pretty big chain. So I'm guessing that guessing that the video companies would just send him this stuff. And be like, hey, do you want like 5 copies or 15 copies? I mean, they were obviously competing with Blockbuster. And Blockbuster had that deal where, you know, if it's not there, then we'll give you a rain check or give you a free rental or something like that. So for like the first week a movie came out, they out on video, they had these huge walls filled with like what I'm trying to think about, like a crappy movie that they had to buy at least 60 copies of. It's like there's some order form where they needed to buy 60 copies of Men in Black 2. Yeah, but he would buy like a couple of them. He never had that deal where you know, if it's not there, then you get the next rental free. He had one deal, and it was this little weird quarter setup thing where you drop a quarter, and if it was underwater. It was that thing where if you drop a quarter in the thing and you got it to rest on a certain platform, you get a free rental. Yeah, I think I like, once I figured out I would do that, and I would blow money on that. And then at one point I figured it out, and I think from that point on he just gave me rentals. It was like, hey, just come on. Well, no, it wasn't that. I mean, he said you can rent one. I'll give you one free rental a day. Because in actuality, I could pop in there, watch a movie, and then just come back in and say I'm done. Give me another one. I think that at some point he gave me a couple free rentals because I was winning it anyway. I was like, I found a sweet spot. And I was able to just walk in, plink in a quarter, and just say, hey, what tablet do I use? I use a Haven. I gotta start putting I gotta put in a frequently asked questions section. But yeah, good times in the video store. I had my first kiss in a video store. And no, I'll just leave it at that. Really awkward right now. Let's see, videos. Let's see. But okay, yeah. Getting back to the horror section, I that's not what I meant. Getting back to the scary movie section, my parents wouldn't let me rent those movies, so I would still just look at them. And like I said, I would fill my head with more scarier movies than probably were actually on the videos themselves. There was one like The Ninth Gate or something, and it looked like all of hell was breaking loose. And there was a bunch of like ones about mutants. And some of them just looked bad. And they were products. There's a difference between 80s showmanship and 90s showmanship. For example, in the 90s, there was a movie called Ticks released. And it was about these mutant wood ticks that were giant mutant wood ticks, and they'd suck people dry. That was it. The cover to this was terrible. It was just a bunch of like clearly plastic ticks photoshopped on this woman. Not photoshopped, it was a photo. I don't think there was Photoshop back then. But it was this woman with a bunch of prop ticks all over her. And the ticks were about the size of maybe a pancake. But anyway, the I could tell it was a bad movie just from the cover, and indeed it was. I would later watch that movie on Sci-Fi or something. Versus all the movies that were from the 80s, and they got people to like make them some really awesome covers for their videos. And then I would later rewatch those on the Sci-Fi Channel much later, and then ultimately be disappointed because they had lame special effects or the stories weren't good. But my God, the cover art, the covers were amazing. Oh, cool. I didn't know he was in that. I forgot. I know Alfonso Rubio. How do you pronounce his last name? Whatever. The Carlton Banks. I know he was in a Disney movie, or I guess a Disney Channel film called Kids in the Hood, or like Kids in the Woods. Yeah, Kids in the Wood. And he played kind of a tough kid in that. Yeah, I actually saw Night of the Demons. Actually, still holds up pretty well. And yeah, I saw the cover to that, and it freaked me out. But it's sort of. There's one movie that I always wanted to see, but never found again, and it was called Jacko. It was about this guy in a jack-o'-lantern. It's this jack-o'-lantern guy, and it was something about. I read the back of the box, and it was like about a wizard or something, and he came back as a jack-o'-lantern, and something like that. It was really weird, but the cover was really good. It was just this big jack-o'-lantern scarecrow guy, and he had this like scythe. It's been a while since I saved. There we go. It's funny that the save window doesn't show up. Have you ever thought about streaming games on Twitch? Money to be made, sort of. You know, I was thinking about starting to stream and I was thinking about streaming in order to get footage of different video games. And because this is actually great. I mean, I don't need to store any of this footage on anything. I just load it up to YouTube and it stays on YouTube. And I'm going to probably do a review of the League of Explorers soon. And that way, I'll just download this stuff from the YouTube channel I have and just work from there. I don't need to store any of this on my computer or my my external hard drives or anything. So I was thinking about doing a Let's Play of Quest 64 again, just to get the footage. I have the footage. I did a kind of a start of a review, but I could tell it wasn't going to go smooth because I accidentally recorded it on VHS. Not accidentally. I just thought it would look. I thought the quality would be okay. But I recorded it on tapes, and that was a bad situation because the transfer wasn't clean from that and digital. And so I kind of I still have the tapes, but I haven't quite mustered up enough gumption to get back into it. I figured if I play it again, capture it all digitally, it'll look nicer. So I was thinking about maybe starting that. Just and it wouldn't take me long to beat the game. I mean, if you know what you're doing, and by know what you're doing, I mean if you put all your skill into the water set in that game, then you can beat it. You put all your skill in the water set to get enough good moves and get your heal up, and of course get by that. There's a huge fire stage. And all of the enemies are weak against water, so if you have that, it'll be easy pickings. And then you just beef up fire and beef up earth, because you have 2 spells in there that pretty much make you invincible for the rest of the game. And that's it. Really not well put together. Interesting, but not well put together. But anyway, I figured I'd do that. And that way I'd get the footage digitally. Let YouTube handle the storage. And then I just edit the good parts together. And like I said, I'd rather do this on YouTube than a Picardo. Or whatever it's called. Because, I can make money off of here. You can't make money off Picardo. And you can maybe make money off of Twitch, but I still haven't kind of broke into that. Or figured out the settings and all that stuff. So I'd rather just do this, cultivate this channel. Of course, the one advantage of Picardo is that they don't seem to mind if you stream videos and music that are copywritten. People do that all the time. I follow an artist. I follow several artists, but one is Plague of Gripes, and he doesn't even talk half the time. He just kind of shows old episodes of SWAT Cats or, I don't know, some sort of anime. Yep, it's starting to look like something. Hello, girls. I don't know what that was. I think I was trying to do that Family Guy joke. This kind of looks like the Grim Reaper. Has anyone noticed Rey is missing from Star Wars merchandise? Like even Monopoly. Who's Rey? Is that the girl? Did they actually leave out the girl? After they were kind of proud of that? And they should be proud of that. I mean, she's little baby girl form Luke Skywalker. I don't know. I just can't get into Star Wars anymore. Although I did come up with an interesting theory that I might do an episode on. And you know that the kind of green frog guy that shows up in the first movie, and he's He's head of the blockade. I was wondering, is it at all possible that he's under mind control? Is it because we know that there's such a thing as a Jedi mind trick. Is there such a thing as a Sith mind trick, where you could just like totally control someone and they wouldn't even know it? You wouldn't even know it. I mean, like if someone were greedy and stupid enough or angry enough, could you just like cloud their judgment so much that you would, I don't know, maybe kill a bunch of younglings? I mean, if you want to take even more away from the prequels and say that no, it wasn't even about, you kind of made the conversion of Darth Vader meaningless. But no, I was just thinking about that because I know that that's a huge complaint that the Plinkett brings up in his review about hey, wouldn't the Viceroy be like, no, it was this guy, and he looks an awful lot like you. Palpatine was behind it all. I was thinking about that, but I was also thinking, well, Jedis have the ability to cloud people's minds and take over, tell them what to do. Could a Sith have a power like that, but on a totally different, maybe more amplified scale? And something that would probably work on the more negative emotions? Or is there some sort of like extended universe thing against that? Because I was just thinking about that. It's like I know that there are some species that are strong against the Force. Like they're not that weak. They can't be tricked by the Jedi persuasion. But what if there were some species that were like super vulnerable to that? That would like do anything that you wanted them to do, even just by you being around them. Like what if your charisma was such a high level? What if your Jedi charisma was so stacked that they would be like, oh yeah, here's the keys to my fleet. Sure, I'll wait on a giant lava planet. What's the worst that could happen? Hey, good night, Michael. Have a good time. And I'm not trying to excuse bad writing. I was just thinking about that. I was just thinking, why wouldn't that happen? Hey man, if you want to make the Emperor look like a badass, make him be able to control entire species. And I still don't know why. Yeah, I'm probably gonna make a video about that. I'm gonna say, it's not a good idea. Maybe it comes off as lazy, but it definitely seems like, mass mind control could be like a good villain thing to be able to do. Like a kind of Purple Man in space. And by the way, I knew about the Purple Man way before Jessica Jones. Really, the Force has its limitations. It could like float stuff and make ghosts. No, I don't think so. I think. And besides, the Jedis were saying, hey, something's blocking our ability to use the Force. So Palpatine must be strong enough to kind of do a huge persuasion. Even if it's not mind control, it's like the ability to block cognitive thoughts, I guess. Not cognitive thoughts, but oh, there doesn't seem to be any sort of string connecting these. They're just floating. And they got little curly hairs on top of them. Maybe I'll do a little bit something like that. You know, the Emperor definitely had an effect on them in a certain way, so it might be something to consider. And now he's gone into twin lightsaber assault mode. I remember this one time I walked in this conversation in a comic book store, and some guy was talking like he was fixated on this Jedi who had mastered like all the healing powers or something, and it was like he was like, oh, she's so badass that she doesn't even use a lightsaber. She could just like manipulate your body, and but she only heals. And I don't know if he was talking about his OC or if it were actually something that existed within the extended universe. Yeah, how did he get killed by a moon? Exactly. Someone just brought up that in the extended universe, Chewie gets a moon dropped on him. I don't profess to be a physicist or even good at anything, but if a moon ever got close to any sort of object, it would be more of a global catastrophe more than a personal one, unless they did the thing from Invader Zim where the moon just kind of or a planet just kind of comes close to you and crushes your soda can. He would not let go of that soda. Neither would I. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay, I still need to put these here. Yeah, I just don't know. And again, to get back to that Hasbro thing, yeah, I think it sucks that they don't include her in the action figures and the toy. Well, I mean, they obviously do, but she should get more of a focus. She is like the daughter of Luke, right? And she is her own Jedi. Of course, I don't know. I don't know about the whole movie. I've kind of been avoiding it because I don't like the whole, oh, the kids are now doing their own thing and I just don't know. Huh, that's weird. I got more skulls on this side than I do this side. If I want, I could get rid of this one and even it out. Or I could add one here, which is what I'll do. I'll just take this one and flip it. Take it, flip it, and reverse it. We work it, hip it up at the. That was a South Park joke. It's like it, and it's I guess I hear that it ended on a good part. I mean, it was hard. It's impossible to avoid spoilers. So basically, I know the whole thing. Thanks, Tumblr. Yeah, but from what I've heard, it ends on a good note for a good cliffhanger. Oh boy. And people have some explaining to do about why they abandoned who on what planet, for what reason. You know, if I had to remake the original prequels, I would totally have it be where I would change a lot of things, but one thing I would change about Anakin, I would have it where not Obi-Wan, what's the other guys? Qui-Gon Jinn. I would have Qui-Gon Jinn find the kid. I would have him go before the Jedi Council, and the Jedi Council say, no, we're not going to train him. And then I would have him be like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. It's like, well, they're not going to train him. And Qui-Gon Jinn be all pissed about it. And, him saying, yes, this is destiny. This is part of the prophecy. And everyone else being like, no, it's not. Screw it. And then later on, I would have some sort of villain, like, corner everybody. Or I would have it where the only thing standing between some sort of villain, maybe not Darth Maul, but some sort of I would probably kill off the Viceroy in the first episode. And I would have it where, I would have it this. I would kill off Darth Maul, but I would have it where something happens and Anakin gets so angry at Darth Maul that he actually starts to force choke him, distracting Darth Maul long enough to have him be, cut in half or something. And then Qui-Gon Jinn goes back to the council and says, hey, the kid that you didn't want to take and train, he just force choked someone. And then they would be like, well, we can't really have a kid that can force choke people running around. We can keep an eye on him and train him in the ways of the Jedi, and then we'll see what happens from then on. Because that way he gets in, you're kind of fulfilling the prophecy, and it would also explain why they probably wouldn't elect him to be a full-fledged Jedi Knight on the council. And that's why, kind of like the rest of society would be, the rest of the council would be really warm to him up in front of him, up to his face, but in the back of the head, they're always like, oh man, that's that kind of messed up kid that did that messed up thing. It's like, well, no, he's beyond that. He's a great Jedi. Yeah, but what if he kind of messed up? And, okay, well, we'll keep him at a distance. We won't let him, we won't let him into our Jedi games. And that would kind of persuade Anakin to maybe gravitate towards Counselor Palpatine or President Palpatine or whatever the hell you want to call it. And he'd be like, oh yeah, I think you're a great Jedi. You could do anything you want if I were in charge. And then maybe at some point he says, it would be so great if I could teach someone how to save people, but the Jedi are out to kill me. And says, well, why are they out to kill you? And says, I don't know, but it sure is kind of messed up how they'll let people die, or how they kidnap little kids, to force them into becoming Jedis and all sorts of that stuff. That is messed up, isn't it? It's like, yeah, that is messed up. I would like to, I enjoy hearing your opinions, and I would like to subscribe to your space newsletter. Well, not that they would. They would see that he's using force powers, and be like, "Well, we can't." It's like, we don't feel like killing him, but we don't want to make him a full Jedi. We'll train him in order to, we'll train him in the ways of the Jedi and using his powers in a peaceful way, in hopes that we don't have to kill him later. And also, I think it would be if something else happened, and if when Anakin and Padme, when they meet, I think it would actually be interesting if they had conflicting ideas. Like if Padme didn't like the Jedi because they did take kids in at such a young age, and Anakin would be like, because I was thinking about this. On her planet, she doesn't have an army. She has a volunteer force, right? So that means it's a volunteer army. There is no official draft or anything, even in times of war. So I think that would be kind of neat if Anakin would kind of at some point say, well, hey, guess what? You wouldn't need all this help from the Jedi if you'd have a damn army. And kind of set up a kind of conflicting attitude between the two. And then they slowly warm up to each other. Kind of what happened with Han Solo and the princess. The last stanza rhymes with the first, so it sort of rhymes. Oh, I've seen that review of Linkara's Reason Why Jedi Can't Love, and it's stupid as hell. I would think Jedis couldn't love because apparently every time a Jedi has a kid, the kid is always more powerful than the adult. Eventually. It's like they get the midichlorians from the mother and the midichlorians from the father, and they add the two up. So if you had two Jedis had a kid, they'd have a super Jedi. And if a Jedi and a normal person had a kid, it would just kind of be a slightly better version of the parents. That's the reason I thought it was. And it makes more sense than two brothers fighting over a girl and destroying a planet. It's like, I really don't care how midichlorians work. Someone said, that's not how midichlorians work. And I was like, oh, well, they didn't even exist before they still don't. But it's like, yeah, I don't know if that's how midichlorians are supposed to work. I don't care how they work. How's that? Does Luke have less than Anakin? I thought the whole reason the Emperor wanted him on his side was he's like, yeah, you'll kill your father and I'll take over. And you'll take his place because you seem to be a better Jedi. Maybe it's because you're stronger in the Force. Maybe it's because you still have your legs. Also, I would have Mace Windu be a rival to Anakin in like the academy. I would have them both be kind of young and brash. And that, but by the third movie, he kind of settles down and he's sort of becomes the voice of reason, but Anakin still hates him because he was such a douche to him. And also, that kind of attitude would suit. I think what they were going for Mace Windu. This is what we referred to as the urban market. Now, I know the urban market likes movies because it once stole my TV. A Sith Lord? Samuel Jackson was horribly miscast. Also, I think it would be cool if by the second movie Anakin actually quit the Jedi. Kind of look like what Dooku did. He'd be like, hey, guess what? I know you all think I'm some sort of monster and I don't need to stick around this place. So I'm just going to become a general for the emperor and actually, well, not the emperor, but the president, and actually win this war instead of dealing with your bullshit fairy force crap. I think that would have been pretty cool. It's like, okay, now you got this former Jedi running around. And I think what would have been cool during if I had done that, I think it would have been cool if he at certain points was tempted to use a lightsaber again. Like, I would think one of the stipulations of if you're going to leave the Jedi, you have to you have to swear off using a lightsaber. You can't keep your lightsaber. You can't keep your access to the Jedi libraries and stuff like that. If we find you with a lightsaber, we'll just end your life right away. Because it becomes that's illegal. You can't keep one as a memento. You can't. And so I would have it so where that one point where Anakin goes to betray someone and he's kind of tempted. Heck, I would even have it where he's facing off with Grievous, who's collected all the lightsabers of fallen Jedis, maybe even some of Anakin's old friends. And Anakin is tempted to kind of, like, use it again. He kind of, like, puts me in, Grievous would be like, hey, check this shit out. And he flings the lightsaber around. He's like, yeah, pretty cool, huh? Bet you wish you had one of these. And kind of pisses him off. That would be a reason to have Grievous in there. As like, the Emperor was using all these jobbers in order to get the real prize. Which was the super badass ex-Jedi. And to fully make him into a Sith. What would I do to Jar Jar? I don't know. I think I would have him be the same, except I would just tone down the obnoxious attitude sometimes. I don't know. I don't like to think of Jar Jar. I do like that robot chicken joke about him being the emperor. It's like, hello, Jaja. Yes, it's the emperor. Yeah, I'm sorry about manipulating you and taking over. And he's like, oh yeah, Papi, you are manipulating me. Okay, bye. I thought that was one of the best jokes. Oh. What would I do to Doug Walker? What do you mean? Oh, my back. Let's see. And also, I think one of the how I would deal with the romance between her and what was it? Padme, him and Padme. Like I said, I would have it sort of be where they're at odds with each other, but still at some point respect each other. I would have it where she, like, they order her to stay and go to her home planet and stay there. But she decides to take Anakin back to the Sand People, back to the Sand Planet to find his mother, because he still kind of has, problems with that and can't let go. She's like, okay, we're going to help you. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and just do nothing. And I would include the I hate sand line. Except I would do it in a more kind of comedic thing. It wouldn't be where they're just standing there and talking. I would have it probably take place on the beach or on the sand planet, and something had just happened where he's clearly bothered by it. And it wouldn't be like, oh, sand, it gets everywhere. It'd be like him exploding in anger. It's just like, I hate sand. It's just, it gets everywhere. Screw sand. And then I would sort of have them together, but by the third movie, I would have it sort of seem like political ideas have spread them apart in a certain way. And it would be totally legal for them to get married. So it would be like, the situation wouldn't be just from her hiding her pregnancy. It would actually be like a legitimate concern. Maybe she's all like, no, the doctors say I'm fine, and he's all like, no, I mean, I can tell something bad's gonna happen. I feel it, and I need to protect you, and and she's all like, well, you feel like you need to protect the universe. And he says, well, as long as I could do something about it, I'm always going to do it. And that kind of sets up for him for his tragic downfall. Oh, and also one thing, the opening, I would have it where the Jedis are they show up because they're like, hey, we hear there's some sort of trade problem. And the guys are like, yeah, well, that's true, but that's okay because we've got the queen. She's right here. And it would actually show the queen in the next room. And they ask the queen, hey, is everything okay? And she's all like, yes, we're just talking this through and we're getting it. We're settling it. So don't worry. And they're like, okay, but we're like Jedis and we're going to make sure everything's peaceful. And she's like, yeah, everything's peaceful. You can go. And obviously that would be the fake queen. And then I would have it where the real queen, like the handmaiden, she's still in the handmaiden disguise. She tries to approach them and tries to sneak off with them. And saying, no, they're doing some real messed up stuff. And like I need to go to Coruscant and testify in front of people. And it's like they're holding I would have it where the bad guys were holding the fake queen hostage in an attempt to kind of find where the real queen was. So that way it's not that stupid reveal at the end. Or maybe the bad guys don't know that they've got the decoy queen, and the decoy queen's just kind of humoring them. Humoring the bad guys while the real queen kind of slips away. Hey, good night, Skinny. Because that's why it kind of sets up the whole danger thing. It was like, hey, everything seems normal, but no, it's really messed up. And they're getting ready to invade. Like, maybe actually not have it be about a trade agreement, but have it be like about, I don't know, they're using some sort of base to attack another city on the planet, but they're using they're using the Queen's City as like a, I don't know, I haven't figured all that out yet, but I like the twist with the two. That's the one thing I think the prequels did pretty well. And maybe it's just because I'm a sap for the stories of people in disguise and not seeming who they are. Oh, and one thing I was going to have Anakin be, I was going to have them, let's see, what was I going to say? Oh, pod racing. I was going to have it where the only reason why they have the pod race is because, what's the weird bat thing? The tapered bat thing. What's his name? You know the guy who owns Anakin and his mom. I was thinking that he would get in trouble with the Hutts. Like he would owe them money, and that's the only reason why he agrees to the raise. And then he says, okay, if you win and we win the money back, I'll let you guys free because you had won enough to pay back the Hutts and I can keep my life. Because as the whole pod race and the bet thing, like in the Plinkett reviews, it didn't make any sense. Why that would happen. What's that guy's name? Sebulba? I would have Sebulba be a goon for the Hutts. And he would be a racer on the side, or be like the Hutt's own personal racer. So that way, when they won, the Hutt would have to give his word about letting them leave. And, having the debt be wiped off and all that stuff. I would kind of set the Hutt up as more so of a threat. So that way when Luke shows up and just smashes him in, it seems like more of a payoff. Okay, I'm going to finish these leaves, and then I think I'm going to call it a night because, see, what time is it? Yeah, it's almost 11. Oh, well, we got some good stuff in tonight. Talked about video stores and the prequels and ways to improve them, and what else did we talk about? MST3K and the new riff track, new MST3K and riff tracks and stuff like that. It's amazing the delay. Someone just now asked, "Hey, when do you think this will be over?" And I just said, "Yeah, well, it's about 11. Time to wrap it up." But let me just get this done. I kind of want to finish these leaves before I stop. My version of Star Wars is way more plausible than Patton Oswalt's. I'm, of course, talking about the Parks and Recreations joke. Okay, let's see. Okay, got that done. The only thing I'm missing from this part is the little emblems on the fronts. You can probably take care of that later tomorrow. And, of course, I'll start adding in the other character. Maybe I'll do some sketch work for that, so that way you guys don't have to watch me fumble around with that so much. Also, remind me, a little reminder, skull details. Sometimes it helps to put in little notes to remind yourself what to come back to, and that means I got to put the little balls and the little tufts of hair on the skulls when I get back. Let's save. Okay, the only thing about save is that it seems to take a while to save some stuff. Okay, let's get one. Where did she go? Oh, and it does that sometimes too. Let's get one good look at her, see what we've done so far. Very nice. I'll also need to add a bit of a tail at some point, and I don't even have that in my sketch, so someone remind me about that too. But I definitely know I would probably skip back past this one, and I'll probably remember the tail for tomorrow. So until then, I'll close that out. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I never know how to end these things, but I'm just going to say to everyone, good night. Hope you had a lot of fun, and I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Okay.